As soon as I press on it, like you can see the knuckles turning white, like at the tip. That means there's like not blood flowing into there, and it's creating all this tension along my hand right here. And as soon as I let go of that, then it gets rid of that tension that I'm feeling on this back part of the hand. That's just not good to be playing that way, like 12 hours a day, all day, every single day when you're doing drum corps. So I prefer to try and get rid of as much tension as possible and just be as relaxed as possible, which is why I sometimes drop my sticks. But so like I can actually take these fingers entirely off the stick when I'm playing and focus on that wrist motion, making it so the wrist can move when I'm playing by not worrying about this. And these fingers just kind of like rest on there to provide a little bit more control. But again, it's all about the wrist as opposed to all about finger, at least for this technique. But again, you can play many different ways, different contexts. I don't always play this way if I'm playing on a different instrument or going for a different kind of sound quality. This alternating flames triplet grid is pretty hard, especially because I'm using Hardeman hammers, which are extra heavy sticks. But this play along goes from 40 to 200 beats a minute, so I'm curious how fast can you play it? So I like to start with a warm-up by just getting the blood flowing, and it just makes it so that, like, when I do the stretch and massage routine, things are much easier. You want to take care of your hands. I had some instructors who were like, well, taking time to stretch, massage, and whatnot is just taking time from rehearsing. It's like, yeah, well, so will injuries. So, you know, learn that the hard way. And then I was like, not being able to drum for a month kind of stunk. Maybe, just maybe, I should spend a few minutes stretching and massaging each day. Here's a weird but good drum stretch that you can do. Hold your stick so that your palms are facing up, and then you pull one hand in, and you go follow through with the other hand, and then you push out. So you get back into palms facing up. This feels wonderful. Then go back out of this stretch. You just go back out the way that you came, just in reverse order, and you're back into palms facing up. Another stretch that I'm gonna do is you stretch the underside of the forearm. You could do one at a time. You could do this on your pad. You could do this on the wall. If you do it on the wall, the lower you go, the deeper the stretch. Don't put all your weight into it. The next thing that you wanna do is stretch the top side of the forearm. So you could do it one at a time. You could do it on your pad. You could do it on your leg. You could do this on the wall, but the higher you go, the deeper the stretch. Now that we stretched the larger muscle groups, now we're gonna stretch the fingers. So I'm gonna do thumb to thumb, twice as fast as opposed to just doing one finger at a time. Highly recommend doing this every single time you practice, and even on days where you don't practice. But there's also a massage routine that I recommend as well. But what kind of stretches and massages do you do when you are trying to keep your hands nice and healthy? Anyone who watched last night's stream, Vagabond, really enjoying. Great manga. Ordered the entire series after reading through some of it last night. It is based on the book called Musashi, and I love that book. It's my favorite book. So, I decided to get this manga and see how similar it was, and it's very similar. Ew. Whenever I'm practicing something slow, I really try and focus on light accents. I'm getting the height out of the sticks, but I am not forcing in the notes. The reason why is because when I'm practicing slow, I want to use the technique that I use when I'm actually playing fast. So whenever you're working on any of these play-alongs, they can go as slow as 20 or 40 beats a minute. Really strongly encourage you to focus on just like nice, relaxed accents, just pull it back, let it happen. If you are squeezing your sticks as you get faster and faster, the more tension you have in your hands, the less likely you're actually going to be able to play fast. The more relaxed you are, the more effortless the motions are, and the more you get out of the way of the physics of a stick and the rebound, etc., then the better it's going to be for you to be able to play faster, the better it's going to sound. So I'm playing through this and I'm jumping up 10 clicks at a time. And so this is a great way to kind of assess whether or not your technique changes from starting at 40, like you can with these timestamps, or going up to whatever your maximum is. Like, let's say it's like, I don't know, 170 or something like that. And that 10 click jump kind of lets you see where's the gray area where my technique suddenly shifts from like a slower technique to a faster technique. Ideally, they're the same all the way throughout. The way you practice slow is how you're practicing fast. But if it's not, it gives you some data. So then when I come back to this and I'm like, okay, now I know what was not good at faster speeds. And now I also know what was not good at, like, I don't know, 100. That's when like there's a jump in technique. Would then just like sit here and go one click at a time. So do it 40, then at 41, then at 42, until you get all the way up to whatever your speed is, where like it changes from one technique to another. So that's something that I highly recommend doing whenever working through these. 5 to 10% of my practice session is intentionally trying to find a breaking point, a chopping out point with whatever it is I'm trying to work on, and push my brain and my hands to think and play a little bit faster than I actually can. I would spend probably 80% of my time working at like 40 beats a minute and really refining that technique and slowly speeding this up. And then the end of my practice session, I would spend 5-10% of my time specifically going faster than 200. So if 200 is your breaking point, try and find a way to get past that. When doing 3s and 4s, like right, left, 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 or right, 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 in the stick control exercise, should it all be stroked out and at the same height, or is there a natural decay? It depends on some context. When you're playing through this, ideally, if you want it to be as OCD as possible, you'd make it all sound like just like cut and paste a single note, and then all you hear is that. If you are playing alone, this might not matter as much as if you are playing in like a snare line. Why is that? Okay, so the snare line, if you have one person who plays right here, another person who plays right here, another person who plays right here, that is going to give you 3 different touches or 3 different sound qualities and volumes and whatnot, and that is going to create a really weird sound with all of you, even if you play it exactly at the same time. However, if you all play with the same touch and the same height, so the same amount of velocity going into the head, it is going to have a profoundly different sound compared to if you're playing at different heights. Okay, I'll do like an hour-long stream where I just like work on something, like really slow it down and like focus on the technique. And then like the last like 5 minutes, I'll just play something fast just to, have fun with it. And then I'll get comments like, you need to focus on your technique. It's like, dude, I just spent the last like 55 minutes doing that. You're commenting on a 1-minute short. Focus on your own playing. Then maybe you'll get better instead of, worrying about other people. Well, my hands didn't spontaneously combust, but I think we found the breaking point. Success. Yeah. We chopped out. If you want to play along to this, you just go to jaredoleary.com/drum. There's going to be over 2,000 hours of free drumming content by the end of 2023, so stay tuned for more. New one every single day.